Alright. Down that goes. Port. And now just go around and make places happy. Let's go ahead and build. No, there's not much we can really do to make this place more happy. So let's just go ahead and build Dungeon Mastery. Brewery. Tax rate. Barracks. Land reserve. Land reserve. Okay, to be honest, I actually forgot I had this town. This place a bit more happier. Maybe a unit in here. Alright. That's it for this turn, and hopefully finally be able to take this. Alright, see you next turn. Looks like they're gonna sally out. So just gotta watch out for the Lizalfos. And that'll do. Alright, there you go. Alright. Nope, they're charging out. Let's fall back. Gotta wait for our allies, or reinforcements. Really gotta run before we start fighting fire. Really need to run. Out. Okay, I guess if you want a 2v1, sure. Zoom in. Surrounded. Notice that side. these disengage. Contact General. Battle since this is the last of Lizalfos. There you go. Death. Nope, running. Speed this up. Some speed as you watch the last of Lizalfos go. Alright. Alright, let them have it so they don't rebel. Repair and recruit. And got kicked out of here. Do I have any agents in the area? I forgot if I just sent them all on their way. I think I did. Oh. Alright, let's go ahead and send people there. Maintain siege. Alright, so that's it for our enemies. So, looks like we're going to this playthrough as it started, taking out rebel settlements. Alright. we go. So I'm just controlling the computer. Save. And find out. Alright. The strategy is rush everybody in. Because after having tons of battles where you have to think a lot of kiting, it feels nice just to send them all in. To crash. And the other side, our allies are heading into. Here we go. Well, since this is going to be pretty much a mindless battle, might as well share my thoughts on this campaign playthrough, since it's going to be the last battle. Overall, I think the Sheikah are pretty fun to play as. Although I didn't really see much of a point to go to Death Dance with how powerful interrogator units were. Like, the PvP interrogator units would be a lot less useful because people will actually spread out and try to take them out with fast unit or artillery units or cavalry units or use missiles of their own. And they have pretty much no defense. Well, Death Dance would be probably a bit more practical for online battles, but the thing is, like when you're fighting multiplayer, you have access to both Death Dance and Shadow Dance units. And as I don't really see much of a point in the Truth Bearers, or at least by the time you can get Truth Bearers in your army, the only enemy that you really should be fighting that having a lot of cavalry is maybe the Moblins, as Hyrule will probably have rushed you by them, unless you keep them in good graces somehow. I also like the archers as well. The economy was pretty hard to manage to Sheikah's first. I mean, I guess they were meant to have mercenaries to balance out the shortcomings of all factions, but that kind of applies to all factions. I do feel like it's annoying having to use the interrogators quite a bit, though, to survive all the battles I was handling. But I guess that comes with the territory of how the Sheikah are positioned, because they're positioned in the center of the map. Well, there's only one territory to begin with. So, and no matter where they expand, they're pretty much taking some other faction's expansion. So they'll probably go to war pretty quickly if they don't get a lot of allies. Overall, I feel like I had a lot more fun in the field battles than siege battles. Because siege battles felt like I was hiring a ton of mercenary units to go ahead and just walk ahead of me and meet shields until my interrogator units moved in and finished the job. And it'd be much more difficult if I didn't have the Oka. If I didn't have the Oka, I might have infantry units join my side, because Sheikah artillery is pretty terrible in taking out buildings. They're both, I think, based off the Hwacha series in the Hwacha siege equipment in Medieval Total War. So they have 3 or 4 salvos of a bunch of missiles, which are mostly anti-infantry rather than anti-building. And the shadow cannons are pretty inaccurate, as in Like, they may not be even able to take out a gate if you don't position them correctly. One thing I really did like, though, was having to implement is being able to hire all the minor factions, except Horon, because the fairies killed him first. Like, I really like using those faction units more than the mercenary. It feels more accomplishing to use the other faction units. I probably should have also exterminated more towns, because public order was getting becoming a major issue in the later part of the game. As you can see with the rebellions happening. If I let this game, if I would have let this game run a bit longer, I'd probably have faced a lot more rebellions as well. Like, there isn't really much of a way to get rid of those. What else? Overall, I think outside of the interrogators, I feel like they're pretty balanced. Like, if I had to say anything to change the interrogators, I'd probably lower their ammo count so that they can't get 1,000 kills in one unit can't get 1,000 kills. That's probably my main concern. Like, have them have a low ammo count, even though it doesn't make sense aesthetically, because they should be able to carry a ton of needles. Because these units just destroy everything. Like, if they have siege equipment from afar, you can just use these to fire on them. And siege equipment, like fire enemy siege equipment so that they can't even reach your walls. Or if you're using an infield artillery, you can just have these target them as well. Overall, I say it's a pretty fun experience, fun faction. Just not really much of a point of going outside of Shadowstance in terms of units, I think. Except for public order. Yeah, again, that's the only reason why you actually want Death Stance, I think, in terms of units, because Death Stance units has higher unit counts. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, with that rebel settlement out of the way, that's all of the Sheikah's active enemies gone. And that should be most of the rebellions. So anyways, for the next faction I'm gonna play as the Lizalfos, which have a pretty rough starting position. It's also one of the first faction I really played as in Hyrule Total War. Probably my favorite faction. Alright. And that's all I can really say. At least all I can think to say. Alright. Have this merchant here. Just take a turn for these two to vanish. Overall, I think this was a pretty good run. Anyways, I'm gonna upload this save for this endgame Sheikah in case if people want to continue playing from here. Like if they want to try taking out the Wizarobes and Laneru. Kinda happy that, or at least I didn't have one ally that didn't backstab me. Even though Ordona should have been the ally that backstabbed me, as I probably had the weakest borders around them. Especially when I was walking around taking these territories. Well, alright. Thanks for watching my Sheikah Cadre playthrough of Hyrule Total War. Alright, thanks for watching. Zolrolt out.